Okay, I'll admit it, I might actually be addicted to Forza Horizon 5, and strangely enough, I haven't actually done that much of the game, but instead, I've just spent hours and hours driving around in loads of different cars, and that alone has been absolutely amazing. Anyway, I was meant to get a tyre wear video out for this week for F1 2021, but due to me playing Forza Horizon 5 a lot, I thought I'd do a sort of review on it and give my thoughts from my first week with the game. And I will just say that this video is in no way sponsored by anyone associated with Forza Horizon 5. Now, if you're not familiar with the Forza Horizon franchise, the basic idea is that you have a big open world map where you can drive over 500 plus cars, doing all sorts of races and activities either by yourself or with your mates. This has been a winning formula since the original Forza Horizon release back in 2012, and since then there has been no real need for a revolution, but Forza Horizon 5 is definitely a slight evolution from its predecessor Forza Horizon 4. One of the best things about this game is the new map, which this time is based in Mexico. And not only is it absolutely ginormous, but it is one of the prettiest looking games to date. I mean, just look at it. There are also multiple different locations and climates, from the beaches to the desert to the jungle to a vibrant city and even an active volcano. On top of this, you also have a different season each week. And like in real life, this brings totally different weather for you to experience. There are also different road types, from a ridiculously long highway that runs through the middle of the map, to race circuits, to switchback mountain roads to drift on, to dirt roads, and the list goes on. All these different roads and environments means that there really is something for everyone here, and that's even before we have gotten to the cars and customization side of stuff. For me personally, this feels much more like a Horizon game than the UK-based Forza Horizon 4, and I feel that's due to the variety of locations and environments that Mexico can provide, which gives me a similar sort of feel to Australia from Forza Horizon 3, which was also one of my favourite games from the series. Now, moving on to the cars, from which there are loads to choose from and collect, with many more due to come out over the coming weeks, months and years if it's going to follow on from its previous game structure. Much like the locations, there is something for everyone, from racing trucks to dirt buggies to hypercars to hot hatches, and you get the point. But if you really like a certain car, you can customize it to fit your every need. Want to go drifting? Slap on the drift tyres, diff and suspension, and Bob's your uncle. You're now going sideways. If you then decide you want to do some off-roading now, you can do exactly the same thing, but for off-roading this time. And probably the best bit is that these parts make a really big difference to how the car feels, meaning you're pretty much good to go without having to do any fiddling with the tuning. Obviously, for the more nerdy people like me, you can still get into the nitty-gritty of the tuning and get the best out of the car, but it's nice to know that the car's behaviour can be changed by the parts you put on the car as well. Speaking of parts to put on your car, there are now even more wheels, tyres, body kits and parts in general to put on your car, but sadly I have noticed that there aren't any more Rocket Bunny kits, which is a bit of a shame as they were in the last game, so all we can do is hope that they make a possible return at some point in this game. Another change that is very welcome is the car's audio, which simply put are fantastic. I especially like the GTA style ability to rev the engine whilst upgrading the car, so you can now even hear what the different engines, exhaust, turbos and superchargers sound like. Oh yes. I do also want to mention the handling of the cars, and if you've played previous Forza games, you will know that it is exceptional. It has been tweaked slightly, but it's still one of the best simcade racers out there, with it being easy enough to pick up and play like an arcade racer, but turning all the assists off make it much more of a sim experience. This is by no means an easy thing to achieve, but like its predecessors, it really delivers on that simcade experience. Also returning is the livery editor, which has had a few minor changes to make it less clunky, but overall it's pretty much the same as Forza Horizon 4. And as you probably guessed, this is where I will be spending most of my time. And if you've liked any of the designs featured in this video, be sure to give me a follow and download them for your cars too. And yes, there will be plenty more designs coming in the future. Speaking of following, we only have a few months left of this year and I want to see if we can hit 20k on this channel before 2022. So if you could click that subscribe button, that would be super. Before we move on from the cars, there are also a few little details that I really appreciate and I just want to give them a mention. We can now finally paint the brake calipers, which just makes the designs look that much better. And you can also do the roof of convertible cars as well, which is a pretty nice feature, I think. That being said, it's only currently working on a handful of convertible cars at the moment, but they are planning to add more throughout the game's life cycle. Moving on to activities and things to do, and like the rest of the game, there is so much to get your teeth into. We have the usual races you expect, like circuit, sprint, dirt, street, drag, etc. But on top of that, you have things like the drift zones, speed traps, danger signs, and there's even the returning Battle Royale style game mode called the Eliminator. There are also some new story-based challenges as well as new seasonal challenges to do each week. And if none of this really takes your fancy, you can even go out there and create your own races and challenges. There really is quite a lot to do in this game. Now, with any game, it isn't going to be perfect, and especially at launch, there's always a few bugs and glitches. And playing on the Xbox Series S, I haven't noticed any game-breaking glitches or bugs, it's more the slightly annoying ones. And seeing as Turn 10 is aware of them and will be doing hot fixes and updates to fix them, I can't really complain too much. However, there is one new feature that is a little bit disappointing, and that is the ability to gift cars. Now, when I saw this, I thought this was going to be great, as I'll be able to give cars to my mates and to you lot who are subscribers of the channel. But sadly, it's not quite like that, as you can't choose who you're gifting the car to, which, yeah, is quite disappointing. However, I still will be gifting plenty of cars in this game, some of which will have a special one-of-one livery of them. Just like this alternate white, purple and gold Lewis Hamilton design, and I know it's quite unlikely, but hopefully this goes to someone that is watching this video. But if you do ever see that car driving around, yes, that is a one-of-one livery on it. The only other thing that I can currently fault with this game is that, like all Forza games, it's an Xbox exclusive, meaning that unless you have an Xbox or a PC that can run it, you're gonna miss out on this amazing car game. I would also really love to be able to play this game with the PlayStation's DualSense controller, which is so much better than a standard Xbox controller. But it's not all bad news for PlayStation users, as we are only a few months away from getting Gran Turismo, which is another game I just cannot wait to play. Anyway, to wrap up this review, I cannot recommend this game highly enough. If you like cars, you simply have to play it, as it's got to be one of the best car and racing games ever made, and there really is something for everyone here. On top of that, the game just looks amazing. No doubt in my mind, it's 10 raccoons out of 10 for me, and it's simply a must play. Alright then, I've been Jumbo, and I'll catch you all in the next one.